Hey guys, welcome back to the Hickory Academy Minute. It's Sensei Joshua Page, and we've got a story for you guys today. We're going to be talking about kindness and how it can come from unexpected places. And the story we're going to tell you today is about two boys. There's one kid named Kyle and one kid named Ted. And Ted is kind of, you call him like a jock. He's a football player, he's very popular. He's lived in town his entire life, so he has lots of friends. And he just started high school, and it's the first day of school. And there's another kid who lives in the same neighborhood as Ted. His name is Kyle, and he just moved to town. He's new to the area, doesn't know anybody, and he's not really athletic. He's very much into his study, and like I said, no friends in town. And they live in the same neighborhood. They walk to school every day, and it's a couple weeks into the semester, the first semester of high school. And as you can imagine, Ted has made a ton of friends already. He's having a great time. He's playing football, and Kyle is not as lucky. He's having a hard time adjusting, and they're both walking back home from school one day, and Ted is walking, and he sees Kyle, and he's got all of his books. He's carrying this big stack of books. He's got some it's like his gym clothes, like on his shoulder, trying to carry those too, and some other stuff. It looks like he's just trying to carry everything he owns back to his house. And he didn't think a lot about it, and he sees some of his friends come up to Kyle, and they start picking on him. They push him, they knock him down. His books go everywhere. His glasses even come off his head. And the kids laugh, and they go on, and Ted's watching him, and he's just going to walk on. He doesn't want to get involved. But he sees the look on Kyle's face, this just complete sadness, like he's at just his lowest of lows, and it touches his heart. And so Ted comes over there, he picks him up and kind of dusts him off, and he says, "No, listen, don't worry about that. Those guys are just jerks. Don't even think about that." He said, "Let me help you with your books." And he picks his books up, he finds his glasses for him, and he said, "Man, you got a lot of books. It's like you're trying to move out of school with all this stuff. Let me get some of these books. I think we live pretty close together, and let's just walk home together today." So here's Ted and Kyle, each with a stack of books, walking back towards their houses, and they start talking on the way back. And Ted, he starts to figure out, like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. We have a lot of the same interests, and this is a really cool guy. And so he decided when they got back, to Kyle's house, he puts his books down on the porch and he says, "We're gonna play football tomorrow. Why don't you come with us and hang out?" And he said, "Sure." Kyle said, "That'd be great." And the next day they go play football. He meets all the guys, and he starts to make friends. And his whole high school career kind of makes a change for the better. And Ted and Kyle actually over the next 4 years become best friends. Inseparable almost. You see one, you see the other, and we get all the way to the culmination of their high school career, their graduation day. And Kyle has become the valedictorian of the class. He had the highest grades, and of course they asked him to speak at graduation ceremony. And he's back, right below the stage, getting ready to go up and speak, and he's just so nervous. He doesn't know what he's going to say, and he's very nervous about what's going to happen. And of course, his friend Ted comes up, and he sees that he's upset, and he just pats him on the back and says, "Don't worry about it, you're going to do great." And goes and finds his seat, and Kyle walks up to the podium and starts giving a speech, and he says, graduation is a time when we give thanks. Thanks to our parents, thanks to our educators, to our friends, all the people that helped carry us to this point. And I wanted to thank somebody in particular. And he points out in the crowd, he finds his friend Ted. He says, "I want to thank Ted, for some of the things that he's done for me." And actually, one of the things that he did for me, he doesn't know how much it meant to me, and he might never remember this, but he said, "Ted, do you remember the first time we met, and those guys knocked me down, my books went everywhere, and you came up and you picked me up, and you said, don't worry about it, and you carried my books home for me. And you even made a comment about me having all these books, like I was trying to move out of the school. And you were kind of right, because I'd been in class for a couple weeks, and it was horrible. I just moved, I was getting picked on, I was getting bullied, and I thought that I was at my lowest point. And actually, I had taken some of my mother's sleeping pills, and I had stored them up, and I had planned on committing suicide that very weekend. And the reason I had all those books is because I cleaned out my locker. Because after I committed suicide, I didn't want my mom to have to go back to the school and get all my stuff and go through all that shame of having to carry all my stuff out of school. So I cleaned it out. And on the way home, that's when I met you. And I realized that maybe this isn't my lowest point. And if one person can reach out, and show me kindness, then maybe I shouldn't do what I was doing. And I know you probably didn't know it, but you saved my life that day, and I can never be grateful enough or show you enough gratitude for what you did. And I love that story because it just shows the impact of small things. You might not think what you're doing is a big deal. Maybe you just open the door for somebody. Maybe you just say hello. Maybe you pick up somebody's books, or maybe it's that kid at school that nobody sits with or doesn't want to talk to, and you sit down and eat lunch with them. You have the power to change people's lives through random and sometimes not so random acts and simple acts. So this week, when you go back out from the dojo or from school or from home, wherever you're at, and there's a chance for you to do something simple and something kind for somebody, I want you to make sure you did just like Ted did and reach out and do a kindness for that person, because you never know what the impact is. I guess I'll see you on the mat soon, and train hard.